The chairman or president?
No. Yes, I'm a trustee.
Okay. You can feel it. Oh, we are back on Your Image, your public relations program on TV. Today is another day, and we have professionals in the house. Of course, you know professionals are the experts who champion the cause and development of a nation. And today I have Dr. Kunle Ashimi. He is a medical expert, an entrepreneur, and a solution provider. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I also have with me Matthew SIMPA. Matthew SIMPA is an author, he's a film producer, screenwriter, and also an entrepreneur, but with good storytelling ability. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Here I am, Abeokuta, your anchor. Well, we are looking at the topic, the professionals and nation building. We will also be looking at the role of professionals in national development. Dr. Ashimi, it is expected that experts have a key role, a pivotal role.
We look at Nigeria per se. I want to say that there is a pervasive culture of not recognizing professionals in the things that we do. Now, let me come home. How many people built their houses? And those houses were designed by architects, for example. How many people employed civil engineers in the construction of their houses, for example? And you will then realize that along the line in so many things that we do, people would sacrifice professionalism or professionals just to cut corners. Even in the medical profession, where life, is very, very important, and the loss of it can happen in a twinkle of an eye, you still have people patronizing non-professionals, non-core professionals for the provision of their healthcare services. It will also interest you that it's so bad that a former senator in this country died from, mismanagement, if we would say there was any management at all, by a quack. And it is not that he was not rich enough to afford, doctors and all that, but he would rather patronize a quack. So there is that entrenched culture of not appreciating professionals and professionalism in what we're doing. Everybody is a professional in their own right. It's the way they want it done, whether it makes sense or not, and then for as long as it is offered cheap, they would rather go for that, forgetting that, consulting or consultations with professionals would come with a fee. They don't appreciate this. And that is pervasive across board, even in businesses. How many people employ accountants, to do their books for them? And you will now find that even so many of our businesses, when even government say, oh, we have made provision for so amount for this sector or for that sector to be able to avail for the development of their businesses, only a few are able to get these funds. What you will hear them say is, some people have gone to bribe, some people have gone to do this, whereas they are not able to perfect their papers because they don't have the prerequisite cash flow and all of those, their ledgers are not tidy or they don't even have at all, and so they cannot access these services. So that basically, that nonchalance, that lack of, respect, that lack of appreciation for professionals and professionalism affects us all, and it pushes us all, even when people get into government.
Yeah, if you say that, I think that is applicable to individuals and probably companies. But what can we say about government? Because government is supposed to provide the structures, to provide the future plans on which all these things will stand. What is happening?
Well, it is still the same people, these same individuals that rise up to populate government. I just said now, a senator of the Federal Republic died from the hands of a quack. What do you expect that senator, if you could do that to himself, what will he do to other people? So I think that over the years, of course, professionals themselves have been trying to make sure that they become integral parts, they become more visible, they are given more chance to participate in nation building across board. And so you would not blame these professional bodies as you see proliferation of multiple professional bodies over the years getting chartered and setting standards so that they can be. Now let's look, for example, at these collapsed buildings.
Okay.
There is the structure. There are processes to follow, but people are able to circumvent these processes just because, one, the processes themselves are not clear-cut, some of them are cumbersome, some of them are cast in iron, because especially those who draft those processes may just be civil servants who just want to, but when professionals come in, they tend to simplify these processes, sometimes stratifying them into stages and all of that. So that will improve what we're doing. So it is the same people that are down here who rise to go into government, and it is that mentality that they carry there. But it's changing, but not as fast as we would want it, because of the proliferation of these professional bodies trying to raise the standard, sensitizing the people, especially when events occur that are untoward. They come forward to say this is why it happened, this is why it happened, this is what will have been done, and people are becoming more sensitized.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashimi. SIMPA, when we look at the issue of proliferation of professional bodies and other professionals, is it a good omen, or how do you see it?
Well, sometimes they say the more the merrier, if I'm getting it right.
Are the standard being raised?
The thing is, it's not in the volume, but in the attitude of the people. Like Dr. Ashiru has just said, Ashimi has just said, the society itself has problem when it comes to issues like this. We have our values misplaced. Well, before coming here, I had to speak to a few people. I spoke to adults, and I spoke to a young guy who is a student of a technical college. I tried to ask if they knew what being a professional is all about and what a professional is supposed to do as far as nation building is concerned. The answers I got, I didn't like it. Only one of them told me that yes, as a professional, he believed that he had to contribute to nation building. And I asked pointedly, do you see it as a compulsory thing, or is it an optional thing? One of them, two of them told me that it's optional, that if you like, you don't do it. Then a particular person said it is compulsory, it's a compulsive thing that a professional must contribute to nation building. So it's not the number of the bodies, but the attitude of those who are in these bodies that is affected.
Well, you as a storyteller, perhaps you want to say that probably some of you have been abdicating from your responsibility. If real stories of the past have been told, probably we wouldn't be where we are today. What do you have to say to that?
I agree that much of what you have in terms of storytelling, and especially in terms of audiovisual medium, is terrible. I've been reading a lot of things from my colleagues on platforms and all that thing. But it still boils down to the society, like I've been trying to say. What will society, accept? I, for one, I don't follow bandwagons. I've avoided doing skits because I don't believe in skits. I'm a serious filmmaker. I was discussing with somebody about a project, and that person was showing me some skits that she thought would be the standard she wanted. I said, I'm not a skit maker. I like to do films that have beginning, middle, and end. You understand? But of course,
that will be impactful.
That will be impactful. Those are things people will watch on YouTube that will have plenty views and all that. But what's the essence of watching something that just scintillates you and does not leave you weeping and crying and wanting to change? So it's what the society is asking for that people are giving. And of course, it's because these people who are giving are also lazy. The books I have written, if you read them, they are not the usual kind of, popular books people write. I try to sit down, I try to see what can I achieve with this book. I want to work on people's minds. I want them to read the book and begin to think, why can't I try this particular idea? So that is the problem with us in this country, societal values.
Thank you so much. Dr. Hashimi, you see, I think part of the roles of the professionals is also to begin to identify nations, structures, and apply according to their culture, according to the practices, and some other activities to enable cohesion. Are you seeing some of our professionals doing this?
You see, the foundation in the first place has issues. At an international conference where I talked about education and national development, one of the things I was able to point out is that our educational system in itself has issues. And what are the issues?
When you say they have issues, okay.
Yes, and these issues are that what is there in our curriculum that identifies and addresses the challenges that we face as a people? I am sorry, there are some courses when some people tell me that this is what I'm studying in university, I tell myself, this is a waste of time. But not because I think those things don't make sense. They would make sense to me if they are component parts of a larger course, for example. That, okay, you do, I don't want to mention any course because everything, for as long as it is studied in university, has an impact. But does it have an impact for us as a developing country? And when you go to a system where by the time a student is graduating, what he or she has been taught is no more relevant. Okay? And so when such people come out to be professionals, in quotes, you find that they get this shock that when they are called out, they don't seem to understand what is being asked. That is why you will see that in certain sectors of the economy, in certain industries, they will not tell you that they are recruiting workers. They say graduate trainees. People that they are still going to train all over again to suit their own system. So we need to look at how our people are. For example, see, all these are cursori. You go to class and then a lecturer, lectures you, reads a note to you, the same note of 15, 20 years ago, and expects you to do la cran la po, at least as we used to call it. Exactly what I give you is what you give me.
And it's repeated everybody else.
Yes, it's repeated everybody else. Not, thinking for yourself to harness everything that you have been taught to be able to provide solution to that question. But they want what you have been taught, so that does not help anybody. In the United States, for example, even secondary school students are not given questions like, even mathematics. They are made to think of the application of the mathematical question. So you may have two parts to answer a maths question, work out the answer, and then there's a question that makes you now do some kind of essay on that question, so that you exactly know what you are talking about. So when such person graduates, they become problem solvers. They identify problems and then they solve them. But you see, our own people are trained to be job seekers. They are trained to be job seekers. So for professionalism and being able to harness whatever it is that we have learned, it's important that we address our educational system to be able to bring or to train problem solvers and not job seekers. That is the basic problem here.
Where should that start from? Primary school?
Yes, even from primary school. Even from primary school. You see, there is a way that children are made to reason, okay, that in picking up things, for even doing a jigsaw puzzle, a child that is able to, piece together jigsaw puzzles severally is developing the ability to be able to solve problems right from the beginning, okay? And or you say a child that is able to play chess or any of these games at all, there is a part of the brain that is developed to be able to identify problems and solutions. And sometimes, because everybody has been doing it this same way, they are able to say, no, it can happen in another way. Curriculum should change up till the university level. We should, graduate problem solvers and not job seekers.
Yeah, that's well said. It's SIMPA. Probably you might be able to also illustrate because there's a change in the approach. Talking about technology, you are technology inclined.
They bring them in as graduates, trainees. But then you have to have the basics. You have to have the fundamentals. In my own experience, I've not really seen the impact of technology on many of our youth. I go to the banks. When you go to the bank, you sit down for maybe minutes. I won't say hours, so that it won't be as if I am exaggerating. Before the person